Welcome back to the quiet within. In this noisy world, you've chosen to pause, to breathe, and to look inward. That takes courage. Whether you are here for the first time or returning like an old friend, I am grateful you are with me today. Let's walk together through an ancient teaching that still speaks to the deepest questions of our lives. There is an ancient saying that has echoed through monasteries for over 2,000 years. The mind is everything. What you think, you shall become. But there is a question that keeps many of us awake at night. If our minds are so powerful, why do they often work against us? Why do we lie in bed replaying old regrets over and over? Why do we lose our temper at the people we love most? Why does peace seem to belong to others, but never to us? In my years of studying the Buddha's teachings, I've come to understand a profound truth. The struggle you feel inside doesn't mean there is something wrong with you. It simply means your mind has never been properly trained. Today, I want to share with you 7 Buddhist wisdoms that have the power to completely transform your inner world. These aren't abstract philosophies meant only for monks living in remote mountains. These are practical, time-tested principles you can start applying to your life from today. Whether you are dealing with anxiety, struggling to let go of the past, or just searching for a deeper sense of peace, these teachings will meet you where you are. So take a deep breath, settle into this present moment, and let's begin this journey together. The first teaching, recognize that your thoughts are not your master. In ancient China, there is a story about the Zen master Linji. One day, a student came to him in great distress. "Master," the student said, "my mind is like a wild horse. It goes wherever it wants to go. I can't control it. What should I do?" Linji answered with a gentle smile, "Who told you that you must ride that horse? Maybe you can just watch it run." This simple conversation contains one of the most liberating truths in Buddhist teachings. Your thoughts are not your master. You don't have to follow every thought that arises in your mind. You don't have to believe every story your mind tells you. Most of us spend our lives being dragged around by our own thoughts. A memory surfaces. Suddenly we're lost in regret. A worry appears. We spiral into anxiety. We identify so much with our thinking that we forget a fundamental truth. We are not our thoughts. We are the awareness that observes them. The Buddha taught a practice called mindfulness. It is simply the art of observing your thoughts without getting swept up in them. Imagine sitting by a river, watching leaves float by on the water. You wouldn't jump into the river to chase every leaf. You just watch them pass. This is how mindfulness teaches us to treat our thoughts. When a negative thought arises, you don't have to fight it, suppress it, or follow it. You can just notice it, acknowledge it, let it pass. Ah, that is a thought about the past. That is a worry about tomorrow. Interesting. This practice may sound simple, but it is incredibly powerful. Over time, you'll start to notice a space opening up between you and your thoughts. In that space, you'll find something precious: freedom. Freedom from the endless mental chatter. Freedom from the tyranny of your own thinking. The freedom to simply be at peace. The second teaching, understanding that suffering comes from resistance. The Buddha once said, "Pain is inevitable, but suffering is optional." For many years, I didn't understand what this meant. When life brings us so many difficulties, how can suffering be optional? Later I learned that in ancient India, a farmer came to the Buddha with a long list of problems. His crops had failed. His wife was difficult to get along with. His children didn't respect him. He wanted the Buddha to solve all his problems. The Buddha listened patiently, then said, "I can't help you with those problems. Everyone has 83 problems. When you solve one, another will appear. This is the nature of life. But I can help you with the 84th problem." "What is the 84th problem?" the farmer asked. "The 84th problem," the Buddha replied, "is that you don't want to have any problem." This story illustrates a profound truth. Much of our suffering doesn't come from our actual circumstances, but from our resistance to those circumstances. We suffer not because life is difficult, but because we believe life shouldn't be difficult. When we resist what is happening, we create a war within ourselves. We clench our fists at reality. We exhaust ourselves in battles we cannot win. But when we learn to accept the present moment, something extraordinary happens. the struggle dissolves, the tension releases. We find peace not by changing our circumstances, but by changing our relationship with our circumstances. This doesn't mean we become passive or stop trying to improve our lives. It means we stop adding unnecessary suffering on top of the inevitable challenges of being human. We learn to say, "This is difficult. I accept that it is difficult." Now, what is the wisest way to respond? The third teaching, the art of practicing letting go there, is a famous Zen story about two monks walking along a muddy road. They encountered a young woman in beautiful clothes who couldn't cross a large puddle without dirtying her dress. The old monk picked her up without hesitation, carried her across the puddle, and set her down on the other side. The woman left without even saying thank you. The two monks continued walking in silence. Hours later, the young monk couldn't hold back anymore. "Senior brother, how could you carry that woman? We're not supposed to touch women, and she didn't even say thank you." The old monk smiled and said, "I put her down hours ago. Why are you still carrying her?" This story perfectly captures one of the greatest sources of human suffering, our inability to let go. We carry old wounds, old grudges, old regrets, like heavy stones in our pockets. We replay conversations from years ago. We hold grudges against people who have long forgotten us. We punish ourselves endlessly for mistakes made decades ago. The Buddha taught that attachment is the root of suffering. This includes attachment to pleasant experiences we want to hold on to, as well as attachment to painful experiences we cannot release. Both keep us trapped in the past, unable to fully live in the present. Letting go is not about forgetting or pretending painful things didn't happen. It is about releasing the past's control over your present. It is about recognizing that holding a grudge is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to suffer. Start small. Think of a small grudge you've been carrying. Maybe someone said something unkind to you last week. Notice how holding on to that memory affects your body. Notice that tension, that tightness. Now, take a deep breath. Consciously choose to release it. Say to yourself, "I am letting this go. I don't need to carry it anymore." With practice, you can apply the same principle to bigger burdens. The past can't be changed, but your relationship with it can be transformed. Freedom is waiting on the other side of letting go. The fourth teaching, cultivate the garden of your mind. The Buddha often compared the mind to a garden. Whatever seeds you plant will eventually grow. If you plant seeds of anger, resentment, and fear, those are the plants that will flourish. If you plant seeds of compassion, gratitude, and peace, those will become the landscape of your inner world. Most of us were never taught how to tend our mental garden. We allow any thought to take root. We water our worries with constant attention. We fertilize our fears by dwelling on worst-case scenarios. Then we wonder why our inner landscape feels like a thorny wilderness. Buddhist practice teaches us to become conscious gardeners of the mind. It starts with awareness. Start noticing what thoughts you are feeding when you find yourself dwelling on negative scenarios. Gently redirect your attention. When you notice yourself replaying old wounds, consciously choose to think of something that brings you peace. This isn't about suppressing negative thoughts or pretending everything is fine. It is about recognizing that you can choose where to place your attention. You can't control what thoughts arise, but you can control which thoughts you nourish and which you let pass. A powerful practice is to plant positive seeds at the start of each day. Before you get out of bed, think of 3 things you are grateful for. Set an intention about how you want to show up in the world. These small acts of mental gardening might seem insignificant, but over time, they transform the entire landscape of your inner life. The fifth teaching, finding stillness in motion. There is a beautiful image in Buddhist teachings, the lotus flower growing in muddy water. The lotus doesn't wait for the water to become clear before blooming. It finds its way through the mud to the surface, and right there, in the mud, opens its petals. This is a profound teaching for our modern lives. We often believe we need perfect conditions to find peace. We tell ourselves, "I'll be peaceful when my problems are solved. I'll meditate when my life is less busy. I'll find peace when everything settles down." But the Buddha taught that peace isn't found by escaping life's chaos. It is found by discovering inner tranquility within the chaos. The external world will never be completely calm. There will always be noise, demands, and difficulties. The question is whether you can find that quiet place within yourself no matter what is happening around you. This is why meditation is so central to Buddhist practice. Meditation isn't about emptying your mind or reaching some special state. It is about training yourself to find peace, even when thoughts are swirling. It is about discovering that beneath the turbulence on the surface of your mind, there is a deep well of calm that is always open to you. You don't need to sit for hours in a monastery to access this peace. You can find it in small moments throughout your day, when you are stuck in traffic, instead of getting frustrated. Take 3 conscious breaths when you are waiting in line, instead of checking your phone. Just stand there and feel your feet on the ground. When you wake up in the middle of the night with your mind racing, put your hand on your heart and breathe slowly. These small practices are like drilling a well down to the underground spring of peace that exists within you. The more you practice, the easier it becomes to access that stillness, even in the most chaotic moments. The 6th teaching, transform your relationship with impermanence. One of the Buddha's most fundamental teachings is the truth of impermanence. Everything changes, everything passes away. Nothing in this world stays the same from one moment to the next. For many people, this teaching sounds depressing. If everything passes away, what is the point? But the Buddha saw impermanence not as a reason for despair, but as a doorway to freedom. Think about how much of your suffering comes from fighting against impermanence. You want pleasant experiences to last forever. You want the people you love to never change. You want your body to stay young. You want certainty in an uncertain world. When reality doesn't cooperate with these wishes, you suffer. But when you truly accept impermanence, something shifts. You stop clinging so tightly to pleasant experiences, which lets you enjoy them more fully while they last. You stop resisting life's natural changes, which brings a profound sense of peace. You begin to appreciate each moment for what it is, a precious, unrepeatable gift. In Buddhism, there is a practice called contemplating impermanence. It is not morbid or pessimistic. It is simply honest. Take a moment to reflect that this day will never come again, that the people you love won't be here forever, that your own life is moving toward its natural end. This contemplation isn't meant to create fear or sadness. It is meant to awaken you to the preciousness of the present moment. When you truly understand that everything passes, you stop postponing your life. You stop waiting for someday. You start living fully, gratefully, in the only moment that truly exists. This one, the 7th teaching. Discovering that compassion is the path to peace, the final teaching I want to share with you, is perhaps the most important. In the Buddhist tradition, compassion isn't just a nice quality to have. It is the foundation of inner peace. This might seem counterintuitive. We often think peace is found by distancing ourselves from others, protecting ourselves, building walls around our hearts. But the Buddha taught exactly the opposite. True peace comes from opening our hearts, not closing them. In Buddhism, there is a practice called loving kindness meditation. In this practice, you first generate feelings of warmth and goodwill toward yourself. Then you gradually extend these feelings outward, to people you love, to neutral acquaintances, to difficult people, and finally, to all sentient beings. This practice transforms your inner world in extraordinary ways. When you cultivate compassion, you no longer see other people as threats or obstacles. You begin to recognize that everyone is struggling. Everyone is doing their best. Everyone wants happiness and freedom from suffering, just like you. This recognition dissolves the barriers between you and others. It melts the armor around your heart. In that openness, you discover a peace far deeper than anything you could find by withdrawing from the world. Compassion also transforms your relationship with yourself. Many of us are very harsh with ourselves. We criticize ourselves relentlessly. We set impossible standards for ourselves. We talk to ourselves in ways we would never talk to a friend. Buddhist teachings invite us to extend the same compassion to ourselves as we would to a beloved friend. When you make a mistake, instead of attacking yourself, try saying, "This is a difficult moment. May I be kind to myself. May I give myself the compassion I need." This isn't self-indulgence or making excuses. It is recognizing that you too are a person deserving of kindness. From a foundation of self-compassion, you'll find it easier to extend genuine compassion to others. We've walked together through 7 profound teachings from the Buddhist tradition. Let me briefly remind you what we've explored. First, we learned that our thoughts are not our masters. We can observe them without being controlled by them. Second, we discovered that suffering often comes from resistance, while acceptance brings peace. Third, we explored the liberating art of letting go. Fourth, we learned to cultivate the garden of the mind with intention and care. Fifth, we discovered how to find tranquility amidst life's chaos. Sixth, we transformed our relationship with impermanence, learning to embrace change rather than fight against it. Seventh, we discovered that compassion, whether for ourselves or for others, is the true foundation of inner peace. These teachings are not meant to be intellectually understood and then forgotten. They are meant to be practiced day after day, moment after moment. The transformation they offer is real, but requires patience and dedication. As you continue on from here, I encourage you to choose one teaching that resonates most deeply with you. Focus on that one teaching for the coming week. Practice it in small moments. Throughout the day, notice what shifts occur in your inner world. Remember, the path to peace is not about becoming a different person. It is about uncovering the peace that has always been within you, hidden beneath the noise and turbulence of the untrained mind. Thank you for walking this path with me today. May these teachings bring you the peace, clarity, and freedom you deserve. Until we meet again, may you be well. May you be happy. May you find inner tranquility.